Now for a quick Bar Torah. This is a double parsha, as we know, Acharei Mot and Kedoshim. As I mentioned before, the issue is, Kedoshim is a very interesting concept. We've spent all this time up until Kedoshim worrying about the proper way to do the korbanot, to do the offerings in the temple, in the Mishkan, the Tabernacle, in all the proper ways, what to say, how to do it, all the ins and outs. Along comes Parshat Kedoshim. You will be holy. So we're now ready to find out how will this holiness affect us. And what does it concern itself with? Nothing to do with korbanot, with offerings. Okay? It is basically concerned with how we treat each other in a just society. It's basically putting everything in perspective. You have laws concerning the proper behavior in holy places, that you don't behave as you would just anywhere. But you also have to maintain being just and being making society operate on a much better level. We have to realize the context of all this is going on. One of the things that many people say is the Jews were just copying the religions with the Tabernacle, because every religion had a central service somewhere, etc. Nothing could be further from the truth. The central service and these other places were much different in nature. The central service, you are feeding the gods. The Torah tells us that God does not eat. We are not doing the offerings for God. God does not need our offerings. What we need our offerings. We need to do this stuff. And that if you don't do it in the proper perspective, it means nothing. As we know, there are movements throughout history where they tried to divorce one from the other. Some people would be very holy, would worry about every little nook and cranny, etc., but they would forget about having a just society. On the other hand, you have other groups which said, well, let's follow the prophets. And again, they forget that the prophets, their basis was Jewish law. Everything had to spring from the law. So yes, they're fighting for a just society, but a just society within the law. Later on in Devarim or Deuteronomy, when we get to Parshat Shoftim, that concerns itself with judges, it reminds judges they cannot, when the case comes before them, they have to adjudicate what the law is, not what they want it to be. And they have to ignore the financial status of the supplicants, whether they're rich or poor. They can't say, well, I'm going to rule in favor of this rich person because he'll do me a favor, or this poor person because I feel sorry for them. He can't look at if they're famous or not. He can't look at their place in society. He has to look only at the law and the facts before him. And that's basically why Kedoshim is there, to remind us that in a just society, we adjudicate society by making it a better place for us. Something to think about.